Height.
Yes.
We could just say, no, we're gonna jump into roll 20. We're not.
No, go ahead.
Oh, okay.
Tori was asking, "Is everyone there?" And I'm like, "No."
Oh, I'm sorry, I couldn't hear.
Yeah, I was waiting. I didn't want to spoil
Yeah, you guys can see the social rankings.
social
Not-
rankings.
Hasn't changed.
Oh.
Yes, it
Hasn't
has.
changed.
Yes, it has. We
Wait,
all
it
jumped
has?
up one. Count the
Oh, we
squares. We all
did.
went up one.
Oh my god!
Circles
I
and squares.
didn't.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah,
We
you
all did.
Oh, you did.
Everyone's even.
I'm learning that Dusty doesn't know how to count.
There's
Hey!
so we all started in the middle with 3 on each
Yeah.
side. So there's a total of 7
okay,
circles.
okay.
Zoom
Now
out so
there's
you can
4
see.
on the left and 2 on the
Yeah.
right.
Think of it like. Think of it as if you're looking at a meter, okay, or a scale. Okay, Dusty.
Okay.
The scale is that of someone who is bi. On the left, they're more interested in the guys. On the right, they're more interested in the girls. So right now, we're leaning more towards
Why?
girls.
Sexuality scale, Harold.
Why are you
Not a
calling?
sexuality scale.
Why
I
are you
know.
calling me out
It is
like
now.
this?
Right?
For September 2023, a new bouquet blooms in the Ennorion Palace. Dear tender-hearted reader, this author is delighted to announce news from the palace regarding this year's season of the Nymphaeaceae Royal Tour. Meanwhile, at the Ennorion Palace, bats, owls, and dragons have been spotted racing through the skies. Perhaps the princes are being accompanied by one Larkspur Taurus again. They have been away due to a mysterious illness for months now. Whispers from silent lips claim to see Her Royal Highness Princess Star Arcane roaming the palace again with one royal huntsman, Matthias. Is there a power couple budding within the court? The overseers of sacred knowledge are rarely spotted amongst us commoners. Initially departed from Asterum, leaving the Viscount's Umberwood estate. Perhaps the family's only daughter, Rosanna, who has been kept confidential from us for so long, was stowed away within said carriage. One witness claims to see one crescent with the Augustin Royal Academy of Fine Arts crest. Peoples at the Academy describe seeing Miss Aurora Dante and her protege Forrest depart in one similar carriage. If you recall, this author published a few months ago that Mrs. Dante would sponsor Forrest on this tour. This author has been reliably informed that Her Majesty Queen Lidizel has christened the tour in the sky for the whole kingdom to see. Our royals have begun their trip out to the social elites of Azuria. What I would do to be a fly within a carriage to learn what games could be happening inside. Perhaps they find secrets out about each other that would put my publishings to shame. I look forward to lingering in the shadows of the candlelight as the Nymphaeaceae Royal Tour continues. Signed, Lori Tori. Now,
Love it.
my royals. I would like to pick up on the next morning. Again, if for some reason you guys use spells, this would have counted as a long rest. And you guys have a bit of free time as each of you will be waking up in your assorted tents, feeling refreshed from the night before. What do you do?
At some point in the night, because the star only needs to sleep for 4 hours, she's going to write a letter. And instead of a bellboy or Endor deliver it, she will cast Unseen Servant and have it delivered to the boys' tent, and specifically Matthias. And I will send that letter over if he so chooses to read it.
By the time he wakes up and finds the letter, he would be a bit first initially confused, like where did this come from, before opening and reading it.
Let me go ahead and send this to you. DM, it did not change from what I sent you earlier.
Got it.
Where'd it go? Okay, and sent. Then in the meantime, Estar is actually going to head out, and without her gloves on, she's gonna head into the. We're on a camp, right? With like woods.
Mhm.
Where are we? Okay, she'll head out in the woods a little bit.
You guys are heading north, so you guys would start be getting closer to the like hunting grounds of Azuria.
She'll head out into the woods a little bit without like her gloves and whatnot. Probably dressed in her Dusk Magi like training gear, and she will just cast Blade Song and do some of her morning trainings because she can't fall behind on that. Just because she's doing princess duties.
Mhm.
Harold, let me know if you need me to change the font.
Nah, you're good.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just my screen is all.
Okay.
Yeah, I can read it. It's just
The
I have like
is-
a high res. It's because of the resolution I have
Oh.
on my computer.
The black is redacted.
Mm-hmm.
So unless you like figure out a way to read it, but
Yeah.
my morning.
So I'll just go down the line. Rosanna, what are you doing this morning?
Cons when she woke up, because elves wake up earlier, she probably would have taken some time to write a letter home, which I will write up and send to you after. And she would glance over to see if Aurora was awake.
She is awake, and Tori, I just sent you a DM.
Okay.
She
can do
would have
that.
found where like the like coffee beans were, and you would say that she's starting to like like with like a mortar and pestle, just kind of like crushing them down because she's not trying to be too loud. She doesn't know if Rosanna's sleeping or not, so she's just trying to finely grind them. And she's like, "Oh, good morning.
Good morning.
Care for some coffee?"
Oh, no, thank you. She'll pause for a moment. While she's gathering up her papers and stuff. Why am I getting a phone call right now?
Do they not know very important royal
Very
business?
important. Well, this is happening right now. I don't even recognize what number that is. So, I'll call it back later. Oh, it's probably medical stuff, but whatever.
Hi, Greg.
As she's gathering her papers, and probably looking through her luggage for a book just to read because she doesn't want to fall behind, even though she's not supposed to be studying during this. She still snuck some books. And as she's grabbing one of her books, she'll look over to Aurora and with a very soft smile to say, "Your husband was a lovely man." Before kind of like feeling a little awkward and then grabbing her book, grabbing her music box, and going out to the reading nook.
Aurora looks about ready to like say something, but she holds her tongue. And you'll see like if she had taken a moment, Aurora had like stopped and just like turned to look at her with like a really warm smile on her face, like, he was lovely, wasn't he? Sort of that sort of look on her face.
Mhm.
She doesn't say anything, but there's a tinge of appreciation in her, in the way that she's looking after Rosanna leaving. She'll go back to making that coffee and start like, she'll find the materials to brew it somehow.
Mhm. I think there'd be like some servants that like kind of trade off on shifts, and they would try to like help you with this or like try to take the task back. But if evidently, I think sort of pointing you in the right direction.
Aurora's just like, you guys do so much for us already. At least allow me to make you coffee.
I think this servant would kind of blush at this and be like, "It's only been one day. It's really not that big of a deal."
And then you dealt with us the night prior. I don't know. Either way, it'll bring me joy being able to do at least something for you guys. Sitting on my butt and having everybody do everything for me is not something I'm used to.
Well, you guys, if I may speak freely, you guys are a special guest of the crown. Of course, we're happy to serve.
I know you're happy to serve, but I'm also happy to give a little extra kick to your day. If there's one thing I can do to take the burden off everyone's shoulders, I will do so. And making coffee is probably the least I can do. Probably what I can get away with doing.
Say the boys are home. They're probably talking spoilers for the new Saw movie.
Wait, there's a new Saw movie?
Yeah, it just came out today.
It just came out today.
Oh my god, how did I not
There
hear
we
about this?
go.
Yeah, the servants would let. I think the one that was talking with you would just still sort of like sit by your sides, like in case something happens. They're there to like help, but they're just kind of like trying to be out of your way, silent serving and all.
First cup of coffee goes to them because they've been so diligent in keeping her company.
Say, Forrest, what are you doing this morning?
So me realizing I'm not a half elf, I'm a high elf. I only need 4 hours of sleep too.
Half elves only need 4 hours too.
Oh, I did not know that.
What?
So
I think that was the case.
No.
have to
Bethany
double check.
doesn't get trance? What?
I thought they did.
Huh?
Anyways.
Moving on.
anyway, after his 4 hours, he would just lay back in the bed and just quietly hum a tune.
Say,
I
depending
can't
on
think
what-
can't think of
I
a
would say,
tune.
depending on what Maddie's doing, he would probably hear you humming.
And so, as he's humming, Maddie, being half awake, just on his side as his back's towards him, and says, "You are certainly a morning person."
He stops humming. Crap, sorry. And I think Forrest would get up and make himself some tea.
I would say after that happens, that's when he would read the letter. Just for consistency of the timeline. Once he leaves.
And also, I think Forrest would, after he makes his tea, he just wanders out of the tent to sit in, is there like a campground, like a campfire area?
Currently, Aurora would be there making the coffee.
Yeah, I will go into the campfire area and see her. Morning.
Good morning, dear.
How'd you sleep?
Better than I expected. You'd see like a she's quite peppy this morning. There's, I don't know, a little something extra going on.
You're usually not. It's been a while since I've seen you this cheerful in the morning.
I had a wonderful dream. One that I wish could have lasted a bit longer.
I love dreams like that, but I do wish they would last longer. He's just sipping his tea. So, we're going to Dol Iris today? Is that no Dol Serissa?
There we go. Aurora just like looks up at him when he says the wrong name, kind of raises a brow, and then when he says the right name, she's like, "There you go," and then goes back, back to what she's doing.
What you doing?
Making coffee for everyone, or anyone who would care for it.
Okay.
It's the one thing I can get away with doing around here.
He looks around.
She giggles as she winks at the servant she gave the first cup of coffee to.
I think when Forrest comes out, they kind of like try to hide it because they're still like, "Oh, I shouldn't like have this right now in front of you guys."
Would I notice them trying to hide the?
Make a perception check.
Absolutely.
Is this person a human?
Yes.
Okay, so in
Are you kidding me? In that one?
Yo, your tea leaves are having some crazy shapes this morning.
Obviously, you are not a morning person.
and Aurora just looks at them, gives them a warm smile, and says, "Listen, you're only a being. You are allowed simple pleasures. Coffee is one of those simple pleasures. You needn't hide it."
Yeah, don't. I think he would hear that. Yeah, don't hide. Like, you're allowed. Like, yes, you're.
Enjoy yourself. Please.
Yes.
It would make me feel a little more comfortable.
I'll try to do better.
Oh dear, it has nothing to do with doing better. You're doing wonderful as it is. Don't overwork yourself.
They kind of like blush, like they turn red out of like sort of embarrassment because they're just like they're not used to being addressed so much. Like this, so they're just kind of like trying to like hide back into the coffee almost.
She's just grinning ear to ear as she just hums and just continues brewing. She's been handing out cups to whoever walks by and that she hasn't given a cup of coffee to.
I'd say a couple other of like the servants, probably a guard, and we'll say like 2 of the footmen. So like there's like a small group now around the fire this morning as you realize you kind of seem to have gotten up earlier than most of the most of the workers have. And they're realizing like, oh, we need to wake up earlier, I guess.
You needn't fawn over me so much. I sometimes have difficulty staying asleep. I'm a very active individual, I suppose.
Yes, she is. Sips his tea.
You needn't add on, sir. she laughs. I take joy in doing this. By chance, is there a sign of Roland around, or is he conked the hell out?
He wouldn't be around the group at this time. You can make either a perception or I'd say an investigation check to see if you can find him, if you want to.
Sure. Perception. Got that +9 perception, baby. Oh god. No.
Perceptions are so high, yet we're rolling so low.
Aurora's just like, okay, I'm not sure where he is, but would you do me a favor and deliver this to Roland for me? And she'll hand it over to the one who had just finished her coffee.
Yeah, she would take the coffee and be like, of course. I believe he's attending to the horses. He likes to get them a nice little warm up in the morning before travel. Most
It's a good
days, at
idea.
least. And she like takes coffee and she like, is it in a cup or like a goblet? Like what did you hand her?
Honestly, she took teacups or just coffee, whatever good cup that
Okay.
isn't gonna burn the shit out of somebody's hand with
I
hot
think-
coffee. She would be using.
Okay. I think she is very cautious with this and is taking like she's so focused not to spill this cup because you showed her such like we're so kind to her this morning. She's like, I'm not gonna spill any of this. We can't fuck this up. And she starts walking towards like where the horses are being kept.
Thank you. She goes back to what she's doing. She's peeking around, seeing if like Larkspur or Astara are around, but she probably missed them. But she'll make sure she sets a cup aside, like not having poured it yet, because she wants to make sure it remains hot for whenever the others remain around or come around.
I do have a question for Astara. Is your booming blade, is that like a loud sound effect?
It's Blade Song that she activated, and
Blade song.
it's not necessarily loud, but if you think about it, I don't know if you've ever been to like a museum where they do the lightning off of the Tesla coils and they make music. It's
Ooh.
kind of like that. There's like the lightning coming off of her hands and bouncing off her sword. And so it's like that like
Okay.
musicality of like the like lightning through a Tesla coil kind of deal.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then I will say that Aurora, you're 11. Probably you could hear because you're so attuned to hearing music, and that you kind of had this affinity to always be dancing through life. I think you would actually hear like that in faint distance.
Seeing that all the other servants have their coffee, she's just letting it continue to brew and just like, you know, be there, and if anybody wants any more, they can help themselves. And so she'll take the cup that she set aside for Astara pour some in and go off to find her.
I would say probably after like 10 to 15 minutes, the start of your like practicing out, you would finally see Aurora approaching.
So Astara's in like her all black dusk magi training gear. Her hair is actually like up on top of her head, like all of her hair is pulled back. Very different from like the young lady you saw at dinner in the carriage and whatnot. And she'll just like quietly like sheath her sword and like look over her shoulder and like, "Good morning."
Good morning. I hope I'm not interfering, but I brought you a cup of coffee.
You are a lifesaver. And she will grab the like gently take the coffee from her and be like, "I was just finishing. I figured people would start waking up soon, so I should probably make my way back."
I figured. Work doesn't stop, does it? She smiles warmly. Like, she's not trying to say that, like, snarkily. She's just like, I get it. I understand.
Unfortunately not.
It's okay. I'm still working all the way out here, believe it or not. Forrest, he's kind of a handful.
Astara's just gonna make a little face, but she's not gonna say anything out loud. But she's just gonna make a little face like, "I've noticed," but
Aurora just kind of sticks her tongue out a tiny bit, just like
5 years and still in training. If I fell behind while out here, my mentor would probably throw a conniption.
Still in training after 5 years?
Yes, ma'am.
That's dedication.
Not my choice?
You didn't want to be a part of this? Not the tour, but what you are doing currently?
No, that I eventually wanted to do.
Mm-hmm. Parents get in the way sometimes, though, don't they?
And a lot of siblings.
I understand. My children sometimes get into arguments. While I never had any siblings of my own, I can only imagine how they feel.
You should spend some time around the Wisterian Palace then.
I'm sure it would be fun. Not a dull day around.
Giant bats and owls and dragons.
Ooh, sounds like fun. She says, like, kind of, ooh, yikes.
It gets a little loud.
I'm sure. I get it. In a school full of people learning music, it gets loud there too, and some people, not exactly the best.
I can only imagine.
Well, they're there to learn, aren't they?
Thank you for the coffee.
You're very welcome. I figured you would have been up. Didn't see Larkspur around. Probably still asleep.
She likes to sleep in.
Anyways, we should be getting back before people come out here looking for us, thinking that we're in danger or something, right?
Walks in the woods are kind of part of my portfolio at this point.
So if the servants don't understand, nobody will.
Mm-hmm.
Fair enough.
You can head back. I'll be there in a bit.
Sure thing. Don't take too long now. She says with a smile as she scurries on back.
Astara will hang out there for just a little bit longer and just like enjoy her cup of coffee, like peace. Before knowing that she has to go back to her tent and like get changed and be a princess for the day.
I would say during this time while you guys are off in the forest, Aurora, I think you would notice some of the servants starting to collect things and get the like there's an actual like full size table that they packed away, and they're starting to get that ready for the morning breakfast. As they start like kind of one of them like comes up to you. I'm sorry we didn't get informed before, but are there any and kind of points to Crocus who's been like kind of at your feet this way. Are there any special food that he needs?
Oh, he's a fae, so.
Oh, okay. That makes things a lot easier then. Sorry for disturbing you, and they like begin to try to like tuck away again.
He has a preference for strawberries.
Strawberries. I'll go make sure we have some prepared then.
Thank you.
Is there anything I can get you while I'm working?
You would not by chance happen to have a large amount of holy water?
I'm not sure we have specifically holy water, but I can double check our supplies.
I do not need it right now, but in an off chance, it would be nice to have.
I believe the Andus actually have a paladin on site that you could probably acquire some from. Truth be told, she's a bit, how you would say, odd to interact with. But I'm sure if we make the prior arrangements, they could have some prepared for you upon our arrival.
Dealing with people that are a bit odd is somehow familiar. Thank you.
Very good. And they like step back again as you just continue to read. I think you would notice like the other servants that were like sitting around by like Forest now also starting to get up and start to their morning duties.
Nah, she would just be keeping an eye out. Just for anything, anyone. Just occasionally glancing around while she reads.
Is Rosanna still in her tent, or is she out in the gathering area too?
She has made the little reading nook her second home.
Ah, okay.
It is like open seating outside, like reading nook. Like there's just, you know the tents that like just have a top to them, essentially.
Yes.
It's like under one of those, and there's like there's like a lounging couch and some like piles of pillows and blankets, and like of one of those trunks that if you opened it up, it like turns into a bookcase, essentially.
Mm-hmm.
She probably would have like taken like a few pillows to like put behind her back while she like curls up and it's like basically has her face like in her book while she's reading, but very much still like she's able to like bring it down a little bit to like look around every now and then. Cat got spooked.
No.
Reading scary.
Reading is scary.
Have you seen Lydia's collection? That's scary.
Half of it's Ashraf, so he contributes.
He contributes.
He contributes to the marriage, yes. Of books.
Looks.
But yeah, Forrest, you would have noticed Hosanna like all curled up in like the cozy book nook.
He's going to take a cup of coffee to her.
She'll like kind of like as she's turning a page, she'll glance up. She'll kind of tilt her head a little bit as he approaches.
Morning. Would you like a cup of tea?
There's tea?
Yeah.
Do you know what kind?
What type of tea is here at the,
I mean, what tea did you make for yourself, first off?
What kind of tea did you make?
You made
Jasmine.
tea. Oh.
Excuse me!
Some random leaves into the
It's
hot
leaf
pot.
juice!
Hot leaf water.
I made jasmine tea.
Oh.
I made jasmine tea.
I have not had that one yet. She kind of like she like finds like a leaf or something to put as like a bookmark, and she closes her book, kind of puts it down, and she'll
She's so
She'll-
wholesome.
she'll very carefully take it, kind of like wincing a little bit at just how hot it is compared to how cold she is, but otherwise she'll go take a sip, but then she'll remember for a moment that hot things are hot.
Careful.
So she'll she'll put it down and she'll take one of her gloves off. And oh, is this yeah, she will frost will start to form on her fingers as she casts frostbite. And she'll kind of like as carefully as she can like cool down the tea a little bit so that it's more to her level of heat.
Just imagine the entire cup just turns into an ice cube.
So she's trying to not do.
I'll have you roll an Arcana check to see how well that goes.
Oh
How well does this go? Early warning magic. Oh
12.
no.
12. I think
Early
it
warning
cools it
magic.
down, but you would see, you know, like when glass like starts, like frost starts to crystallize on glass.
Yeah.
You start to
Mhm.
see that forming on the cup.
She like very embarrassedly like tries to just laugh it off a little bit, but she's like if you look at her, she's very clearly embarrassed that she went a little bit overboard.
He's going to get close and point at the cup and use Presto to warm it up, not too much, but to where it's the perfect temperature for tea. There you go.
I probably should have done that. She puts her glove back on and picks it up. She forgot what magic she has in that moment as she takes a sip. The cat was being a trash goblin.
Raccoon?
I would say at this time, Maddie, you would hear the tent open again, but if you go to look, you would see that it's just Phantom sort of just stalking around as he has returned to the tent, actually.
As he stalks back into the tent, he just mutters. And you would see that he's actually writing a letter at this point. That, as he just says, in his bit of dry humor, here I was about to stab you like you taught me.
He's gonna do kind of like what big dogs do is when they like wedge their way like under your arm when you're sitting. He's gonna like try to poke his head up to see like what you're writing.
So this is what he's written. He's actually just finished it, and it would say the following: To the Master Huntsman, I do apologize for the formality of that introduction, Hagmer. Figured I might get in some practice, especially since I have a feeling that my penmanship will be put to further use. Hopefully, I didn't seem too distant before we left. It is difficult for me to process all of this. Of course, with this being a great honor, I do find myself feeling out of my element, like a fish swept upon a barren coast. If you could provide me any wisdom in how I am to conduct myself, I will truly be thankful. I wish to bring honor to the Huntsman and for all who strive for this position. Your humble apprentice, Matthias. P.S. Thank you for being in my corner since joining the Huntsman. P.S.S. I know Phantom is rather stoic, but I know he appreciates you.
PSSSS.
I think Phantom just sort of like glancing through it, sees the part about him, and just kind of like headbutts you. Like
It's
not
like-
hard, but just like kind of just enough to get your attention.
Yeah. Don't deny it.
You just kind of hear that like low growl.
Well, I believe it's probably time we finally join them.
You would see him kind of like circle for a second, actually lay down in the tent, to like letting you know like he's not leaving in here for a sec at least.
All right, go ahead and have your cat nap. As he gets up and heads on out of the tent. And as he does so, he has a letter all taken care of and prepared, and hands it to one of the nearest servant, and says, "Make sure this gets to the Master Huntsman. I'd be thankful."
They just take it and bow their head. Once we get to the Andu's estate, we will be able to send it for.
Perfect.
We do not have a diplomat's pouch on us, unfortunately.
Who has a diplomat's pouch, anyways? Especially nowadays.
Someone above my pay grade, and they just walk away.
You and me, as he walked away, Matt just says, "You and me both."
Stara. Oh.
I say as you're exiting the tent, this would be around the time that Aurora and Astara would be arriving back at camp. Or, no, Astara was waiting. Yeah, so Aurora would be coming back then.
Has Maddie already stepped out of the tent?
Yep.
He's walking out like as you're walking back.
Ah, nice to see you awake. There's a cup of coffee over here for you.
Oh, thank you. As he just looks over at the cup. Now, he has a bit of a curious look on his face, and you can tell it's the kind of look you'd expect from a kid who's never had something before.
You've never,
He's never had coffee. No, I have not.
Hmm. How are you with bitter things, dear?
Well, the only things I've ever had is water and wine.
Water and... What are they feeding you? You poor boy! I need to make sure you get some nutrients in your system. Coffee is not nutritious at all, but that is besides the point. It's good to help you
Then
wake
why
up.
would you want me to drink that?
It helps you wake up. It tastes good.
Hmm.
With sugar and
But-
cream.
So you have to dress it up for it to taste good?
You'd be surprised some people actually prefer it black.
Hmm.
I think they're insane.
He takes a hold of the cup, looks it over, sniffs it.
I'm just kidding. They're not insane.
He takes a sip of it without any coffee, without the cream or sugar in it. Just
Ew!
That's how
Buddy.
Astara likes it black, so shush. Don't judge. Don't judge.
It's strange,
Interesting.
isn't it?
interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Guess it's an acquired taste. Reminds me of some of the bitter herbs I would use.
Hmm. You'd be surprised a lot of people like it like that. Otherwise, I do quite enjoy it. With milk, maybe a bit of vanilla, if I can manage it.
He's staying quiet as he's just looking it over, but it's clear that he does not have that much of an adventurous palate.
Would you prefer it with sugar? I can get sugar over here in a moment.
I never had anything. Well, no, that's wrong. I've had sugar on things that were desserts, but for something in a drink?
Yeah.
Yes, it would kind of blend in. It melts kind of quickly in a warm beverage.
He follows your lead and like getting the sugar and all that, just like having. It's clear he's just like, okay, this is new. This is different.
Little bit at a time. You don't want to sweeten it up too much and have it be absolutely unbearable.
How much is too much? As he takes just like a giant like tablespoon scoop and just pours it
God, no, God.
What?
That might be really sweet. I guess stir it up and try it. But be warned.
His eyes just like open up wide. That's good.
So you like it with lots of sugar. Got it. I'll keep that in mind for the future.
I'm just gonna get sugar rushes. I swear.
Oh boy. uh,
Anyways. I'm assuming he's looking over at the spread. Assuming that breakfast is ready, correct?
It would be being set up right now.
Got it. Okay. He's just watching as they're prepping it. Seems to have a thoughtful look on his face. Just watching him
Okay.
quietly.
Hopefully I'm not being too noisy, but what's going through that head of yours?
Wow. It's a bit surreal for me to be on this side. Normally I'm among them. I'm used. I guess for me it's just
You're used to doing the serving, not being the ones.
I guess for me it just feels gives me direction or purpose, I guess.
Don't I know that? This sweet dear was trying to have me not be making coffee for everybody, but I told them it would make me a lot happier if I could do at least one thing.
Hmm.
They do so much for us. Sure, it's only the first day, which is a point that they so gracefully brought up, but I don't care. I would really like to make sure that they keep up their spirit.
For some, serving keeps our spirits up. Not in
Fair.
that of an oppressive manner, but more of
You
just how
actually take
much-
joy in it.
it shows that, at least for me, that you care.
I can see that.
Even if they take it for granted.
She just stretches as she sits down.
You would notice that as Maddie finishes the coffee, he seems to be using the spoon to try to scoop up what appears to be like you can tell there's so much sugar in it that there's some resting on the bottom there. Mm.
See what I mean? You might have put a little too much in there. Too
Maybe
much
just
sugar
the right
for the
amount.
of... Spoonful of sugar helps the medicine go down, doesn't it?
Spoonful of sugar helps the medicine go down.
Thank you. she hears this from Forrest and she just turns her head over her shoulder. Thank you.
From the great sage Mary Poppins.
Mhm.
Yes. What a wonderful sage she was. Even if some of the words she came up with were total nonsense.
Forrest just starts humming supercalifragilisticexpialidocious.
Quiet! Hush!
That's such a fast song to hum.
I'm just imagining him like doing like a little cha-cha in his seat, just like
Maddie's just looking between both Aurora and then Forrest. Hmm. Well,
Dusty, the mic and the fan don't mix.
Sorry.
but I just hope that I can meet the expectations.
I'm sure you can. I know you will. You've
I'm
got
only
a good
traveling
head
a
on your
single day?
shoulders. I'm a pretty good judge of character. You've got a good head on your shoulders.
Hmm.
I would imagine at this time, Istara, you would be heading back to the camp.
Yeah, can I sneak back into the tent with no one seeing me?
Roll me stealth check.
Gladly. Do, 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 do. 22.
God damn it, an 11!
22. Natural 15 plus 7.
Think I'm gonna roll for Maddie. Let's see. Okay. And question for the DM.
Yeah.
Since my favorite terrain is forest, do I get advantage?
We are in a forest.
Awesome.
Brad! Nice try, little princess. You ain't going nowhere.
25.
Sneakily, anyway.
You beat it.
Forest, unless anyone else makes rolls, you are the only one that notices her coming back.
He doesn't say anything. He notices the attire and just continues on. As if not trying to out her or anything. Just be like, oh, she's back.
Yeah, she's just trying to slip into her and Lark's tent as quietly as possible
Mm-hmm.
to get cleaned up and changed to be the princess.
It'd be now that the servant, someone would announce that breakfast is served, and you would see at each of like the little sitting areas a little sort of like parfait set up, and there's like other extra bits of fruits and granola on the table, so you guys could customize it as you would like.
Ooh.
I love parfaits. Speaking out of character.
Aurora's eyes are just lit up. She is happy. Yes, she loves herself some parfait. She's just like, if she's taking deep breaths to not act like a fucking child on a playground right now. She's just like, she's very food motivated. She's just like, this looks so good. You guys did wonderfully.
I think you guys would notice that there clearly are more strawberries than any other fruit on the table per request.
Oh.
As Rosado's, she would thank the servants, and she'll make herself a parfait, and she'll like pull like another cup and just fill it up with strawberries and like a little bit of yogurt for Crocus. He's a spoiled pseudo dragon.
Forrest just has this bowl that's yogurt and granola.
After a few
Yogurt
minutes,
and berry assortment.
after a few minutes, Astara will come out with like Endora just like limp doodled over her shoulder like always, and just take a seat with everyone, but she doesn't grab breakfast.
As Maddie notices this, he would get 2 plates. He's going to get so he's gonna, if there's any sort of like cold cut meats that one would expect for breakfast, he would get some of that as well as some variety of fruits, keeping it very simple, and maybe some cheese on the side as well for both plates. And once he goes to sit, places it right in front of Astara.
You, out of all people, would know I do not eat breakfast.
He just looks at you quietly. And then sits down at his seat. The star would know what that means.
Wait, what?
This gesture.
Oh. This is... You're making me use this? God damn it. Psychic Whispers, 3 hours between Maddie and Sarah.
You'll hear in your mind. Well, you're right, but I did catch you training. You need nourishment to recover.
It was more of a discharge than a training.
But still, spent energy.
If I eat, you know it's gonna come back.
At least eat the fruit. That won't upset you.
And
Would you rather... Go ahead.
And if I don't?
If you don't eat? Well, then you're gonna have an extra helping the next few days.
If we're getting in a carriage, I don't eat breakfasts.
Maddie still is eating as this is all happening.
Sarah's just like staring at her plate, like just like pushing like a strawberry over, like watching it like teeter and come back. Like, no, it's offensive.
I am not asking you to eat much. I'm just asking you, eat a little. Besides, you know I'm used to helping you when you get that motion sickness.
I don't want to be sick in front of the others.
Fine, then I won't eat.
She's gonna stubbornly grab that like strawberry that she's been poking and like shove it in her mouth and just like keep chewing, just staring at her plate like, I hope you're happy.
I am. Thank you.
I hope you're happy now. I hope you're happy how you heard your call.
Then you would hear that from Maddie. He gets that.
She's not gonna
I
respond.
hope you're happy in the end.
Astara's not gonna respond, but they still have that link for the next 3 hours.
He will say, however, to you, I did see that hidden message. Just let me know when. And that's all he says. Maddie would have added at the tail end, saying, "Also, the mint tea would help settle your stomach."
I already had coffee.
Is that what she says?
Yeah, just like very dejected, like I already had coffee.
All right. Well, if we need to go in the other carriage, just let me know.
What other carriage?
Oh wait, that's right. We don't have the other one yet.
Mm-hmm. Unless we're gonna go sit in a demi-plane.
Ha! Let's go. We'll do a hyperbolic time chamber shenanigans.
We'll age like 10 years. It'll be fine.
Just like the horse.
We'll age together. But no, Sarah will just
Maddie,
like...
why are you a silver fox now?
No, Sarah will stubbornly just like pick at some fruit while just staring at her plate quietly because her and Maddie are communicating telepathically.
I'd say they catch you up, Paulina. It's just been the few letters and some morning conversations before breakfast. And you've just been sleeping in. You're not used to this new schedule yet.
What the fuck is a morning?
Aurora did make coffee.
It's the
for
thing
everyone.
after you. It's that time of day that you leave the house of the someone you had a one night stand with.
Lark would know that.
That feels very pointed.
That's out of character, by the way.
We've all said
I
Lark was
gonna say,
sleeping
'cause
in.
then Lark's
Yeah,
would look at you
Maddie
like-
would not be that savage. He is not that savage.
No.
I
think-
if you did say that, Lark would look you dead in the eye and say, "Oh, so like that time you left my room that one morning."
No, I believe like Aurora asked about. Someone asked about you, and I just said you're sleeping in, so you are. Good.
Okay. You would eventually see Larkspur, very disheveled hair, just almost crawl her way to the breakfast table. Whoever invented mornings needs to die.
Well, it's a good thing I made coffee, isn't it? And Aurora slides a cup over to Larkspur.
You
Depends
are
on who
now
you
my
ask.
favorite.
If you ask the people of Tritonia, then they would say the Lightbearer created mornings. If you ask the people who follow Lord of Twilight, they would say Lord of Twilight created mornings.
Yeah, but I can't kill the Lord of Twilight. I have a feeling they'd have some words for me then.
And that's why I follow the Master of Beasts.
Did the Master Beast not make mornings?
No. From what I understand, it's very much a natural sort of thing that occurs in nature. So there wasn't one person who created it. He slowly sips his tea as he says that. After saying that.
Too deep this early in the morning.
That's the most deep I'll say anything for today. That was a joke.
Where's my favorite hunter, by the way?
He's taking a cat nap.
In the boys' tent.
Maddie says he's taking a cat nap. I know you're not allowed to be in our tent.
Says who?
Gestures to himself and then to Forrest.
Cosmo tried going in there and got shooed away too. It's okay.
Gestures to themself. You don't know what my gender is today.
You're right, but I do know that you are related to. And gestures to Star. Besides, who would protect her at night?
True.
I can protect myself.
Yes, but I would prefer. I think we would all prefer we don't have to worrying about that being necessary.
If something happens to you, I don't care how much your dad loves me, he will kill me.
Nothing's going to happen to me. I can take care of myself.
This is giving so much foreshadowing.
Mm-hmm.
Plus, I can revive the dead.
They all
What?
can take care of themselves. It's really funny. My daughter says the same thing, but she's after a prince right now.
Are we just
Why-
ignoring the fact that that he said he could bring back the dead?
I'm
Don't
just
get my
ignoring.
mom.
I'm just ignoring Forrest.
I'm just saying, I've lived alone for 5 years. I can take care of myself.
And Aurora will look at Forrest with a loving look, knowing just like I'm kidding. I'm just poking at you.
I know.
Your
I
daughter's
know.
trying to get with a prince?
Yeah.
Which one?
One that apparently rides on the back of a unicorn.
Which one?
Maddie, I know. Oh,
That's weird.
I believe his name was Elrahim.
Prince Elderheim.
Mm-hmm.
You mean the ruler of the Principality of Rosania.
The very one. My daughter has her heart set on him. I've been trying to tell her for years that it's not gonna happen, but she doesn't listen to me.
She's got very high standards.
I really don't know how I feel about that.
Why?
Is it
What do you
because-
mean?
So do you want me to tell it?
Elraheen was in an arranged marriage with my mom before my mom met my dad. And my mom married my dad when she was still underneath, like, the effects of a modified memory, and so she didn't remember Elraheen. It's a...
Every time you tell me this, it still leaves me so much to unpack.
It's why whenever I go over to Elraheen's, I just say, "You could have been my dad. How does that make you feel?" And he just walks away.
I mean, in
Aw,
fairness,
now that's a little cold, isn't it?
It's a little weird.
Fair
in
enough.
fairness, your parents' love story is at least more romantic than my parents' love story.
Accidental proposals?
Accidental proposals.
After your
But-
father died, right?
But
What?
Nothing. Out of
But-
character.
but yet your mother was quite open to the idea, from what you understand, even though it was accidental.
I mean, I hear conflicting stories from my mother saying she was very steadfast in it, and to Aunt Lydia, who says she was tempted to throw them in a closet. But how long they were, like, walking around each other. I mean, in fairness, accidental proposals seem to run in the family. After all, you proposed to me.
Yes. We already unpacked that one. At least that one was a misunderstanding, and we cleared it up with everyone. I do mean everyone.
Aurora hearing this will just start to sip her coffee. Her eyes are closed, but she's listening.
You know that I'm a craftsman,
I know.
and
Mhm.
okay, as long as we establish that it was purely unintentional.
She's gonna look at the others. How familiar are you guys with Drow customs?
Star literally sitting there as a drow, just gonna look at Lark like, I think I can be, not included in this conversation.
You don't have to be included. You're fine.
Aurora just looks and thinks, and she's like, I don't know much about them. Fortunately, I have been stuck around sea elves for most of my life. I shouldn't say unfortunately. That's a bit dumb. But
So,
I mean, I've been around sea elves way more and know more of that culture, and unfortunately, I'm a little sheltered when it comes to others.
in the Drow culture, weapon crafting is a big part of it. You don't.
Got it.
The cultural part of it is one part is you don't become an adult until you crafted your first weapon. There's amendments to the rules and all that, whatever. Another part of it, though, is if you craft a weapon and you give it to someone, it's a proposal.
I see. That makes a lot of sense.
Apparently,
Now,
gift
Maddie-
giving.
Not being a drow, didn't know this.
Apparently, gift
So when
giving
you-
is not that common among Drow.
It's not. So when he gave me a very beautiful dagger, which I still have with me, I joked that it was a proposal. My father, being only a third-generation drow, forgot that small detail when he gifted my mother a sword.
Got it. Well, either way, I'm glad you came from that.
I did.
She winks, kind of one of those looks like, You're kind of one of my favorites too.
Hmm.
It gives her, or gives Lark that look. Let's be real here. Everybody is a favorite to her. She loves all of these sweet people.
But yes,
She's ready to be mom.
there was, yes, very much miscommunication.
An understandable miscommunication.
I mean, I thought it was hilarious. My dad for the first 5 minutes, not so much.
Your mother was ready to make preparations.
My mother loves weddings.
Obviously.
You know,
She
one day I
helped-
would like to play music with your mom.
Oh?
Yes, I hear
Well, I mean,
she's quite the accomplished bard.
Yes. She does often play instruments, however, her way of the craft is more in wordplay and storytelling. Although she is a very accomplished violinist, and I believe she's hoping my younger brothers take interest in it.
If you ever have an interest in learning it, I would be more than happy to teach you. Goodness knows I have a number of instruments.
See, I tried that. My mother forces us all to learn at least one instrument because she says it's something you should know. I learned the flute. I hated it.
Pan flute is way better.
I know, but I get it. Instruments are a thing. Bards do their thing. I
It's
get
okay.
it.
It's not for everyone.
If I'm gonna spend my time doing something, I'd rather be making jewelry.
Hey, that's a wonderful skill to have.
Oh.
Yeah, I actually made a few pieces these two are wearing. She says, gesturing to Istara and Maddie.
Speaking of pieces made, he pulls
Mhm.
out the shell that the turtle gave him. If you guys need extra clothing, just let me know and it'll come through here.
Oh, wonderful. Is that from our sweet turtle friend?
It is.
I should be fine. I took some from the closet. It's good. Though, depending on how things go, will depend if I have to dress more masculine or not, so I might need to change that up a bit.
Okay.
I
But thank you
believe
for the offer.
I packed for every season as a just in case.
It's always a good idea to be prepared, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Quite.
My
Especially
mom has to do that. It's a bitch
Yeah.
sometimes, isn't it?
quite a bitch.
He puts the turtle shell away.
Aurora just like she almost spit takes. She covers her mouth real quick. She's like, cursing does not suit you.
Everyone has to start somewhere.
That's
The
absolutely-
realization that
And
she
Lark is
cursed.
usually the forefront of it.
It's okay. Nobody's going to judge you here.
Thinking in his head, I'm so proud.
Everyone here is. Hell, let's consider ourselves a little family, shall we? At least for the tour. You're amongst friends or family. Either one. Whichever one you'd prefer to put people as.
this time, you notice the servants are beginning to like fully take down some of the tents as they're getting closer to the end of loading up everything, and you guys would actually notice there is a second carriage here now.
Oh.
Second carriage.
Second carriage.
2 carriages that you can distribute you guys of where you would like to be sitting for the next leg of this journey.
I want
Second
Phantom
carriage.
with me. I don't care who else is with me, I just want Phantom.
Oh, we're doing separate carriages this time? What a bummer.
I think it's just so that way we're not too crowded. If we
You
want.
know, that's entirely fair.
Alternatively, it could be if we get sick of each other and we just need a break.
Or in case, for whatever medical reasons, it may come to pass.
Fair enough.
True.
DM, by chance, does Aurora notice Roland around? Did he come back?
He did. You would see after now that the carriages are set up and like being loaded up, he's coming back from taking care of the horses in the first carriage, and he is sitting with the other servants at the moment. I guess he's eating his own breakfast.
She's just smiling. She's like, good, he's here.
Of course he's here. He's gonna be the one that's leading us there.
Oh, she didn't say that out loud. She was just looking at him with like an affirming nod, like, good. He's awake. Maybe he liked his coffee. Here's hoping.
Wait, are the animals around? Is Hootzifer here, or did he go flying? Or is he asleep?
He's your ranger companion.
Yeah.
Where is your
Like,
companion?
it's early enough. It's early enough in the morning that I would imagine he's pretty close by still.
I don't know. I don't control where he goes when he sleeps. He knows he has full reign to do whatever the fuck he wants while I'm asleep. So long as he doesn't try to eat things he's not supposed to, like farmers' cows.
That's
Or other
just
pets.
Or other
I'm still working on the other pets bit. He likes.
If that's the
here's
case,
thing.
I think he's close. You would notice he's a little too close for your comfort to the horses right now. He's not doing anything. He's just close.
So around this time, Cosmo would probably be just like walking up and just like brushing against Hootzifer's leg. Just like, you know, kind of like a cat saying hi.
His full attention would go to Cosmo now. Like, he's not thinking about the horses anymore.
No.
Oh, brother.
Cosmo is a void. Cosmo will not. He won't get hurt. He's fine. He's a void child.
I know, but I don't want to encourage Hootzifer. Hootie. Hootie,
Cosmo's
we
just
don't
gonna
need.
put his nose up and just kind of like try and like poke his nose against Hootzifer's beak, just like a hello.
I was saying that's a very far distance.
Stop.
He's trying. He's just like, you could see him like his nose is just pointing at him.
I think you would just see like Hootzifer's claw like come up like this, and then just he's trying to like push, like just squish.
Cat tail flick.
Yeah, it's just like that's the only process. Just like it's because its head's up to it. It's just like grab the head and squish.
Is it like I'm going to kill this thing squish, or is it a I'm pushing this thing down squish?
I think it's more it's more of like testing its strength.
Larkspur is watching this intently.
Is Star probably seeing all this? Is just like mortified, knowing exactly what happened to Endora, like not long ago. Just like,
Look, I apologize that Hootie ate Endora. She didn't even feel anything though. She has one. She gets literally. I could accidentally step on her tail and she go poof.
and it takes me an hour to bring her back. That's an hour, Larkspur.
And I apologize, but right now I'm trying to make sure Hootsifer doesn't try to eat a Cosmo Cat. I don't even know if he can.
He's a homunculus. He can get out of that.
Does he
He's
phase through, or would he have to go through?
I would imagine, like, if somebody, like, tried putting their hand, like, through him, it would just be very cold.
Well, no, because I'm wondering if Hootsifer
like
tried
mist.
eating him, would Cosmo be able to phase through the stomach, or would he have to like go through the system?
Oh God.
While they're thinking about this
question,
out
DM.
loud,
DM, that's a good question.
What the fuck?
while this is being wandered out loud, Maddie's going to go ahead and cast. Let's see, what will he cast? Hold on a second.
Before Celeste looks around, where's Star?
Hold on.
Where are
Okay.
pet squirrel things?
So he's going to cast Speak with Animals, and he's going to say, Lucifer, I know you can understand me. Please do us all a favor and not not cause a heart attack.
He like looks at you and like still looking, like continues the push.
I know you understand me. Come on.
He's doing that thing like pretending not to like, you know, when, like pets like look away when they're
Do
pretending
you
not to
want
hear you.
do you want me to get Phantom?
You see his mind like consider it, but then like he'll stop and just kind of like waddle away from the horses and Cosmo.
Thank you. I appreciate you.
Baby! What did you say to my baby?
So basically, you would hear all of that because he's
Oh, right, true.
yeah, because it's he's basically making sure it can understand him,
Hootsifer, I still love you.
and that's why he says thank you, I appreciate you.
I think at this point he would you see most of the pets actually are kind of like standing outside of the like dining tent essentially, just kind of like watching you guys and like ready.
I miss fruit.
There's lots of fruit on the table if no one has informed you what's for breakfast.
Maddie is biting his
There's
tongue.
parfaits. There are parfaits. So make your own parfait
Ma-
buffet.
It's like a
Maddie is
parfait bar.
biting. Maddie
Yeah,
is biting his tongue as he hears that.
She's gonna toss Hootsifer some bacon bits and just have like an orange for breakfast because breakfasts are weird. She's tired. But also she knows if she tries just having coffee for breakfast, her mom would somehow materialize and give her the disappointed mom look. So, how far to our destination again?
I would say if anyone that knows Roll20 better than me, how do I move you guys to a new map? Because I have it set up. I don't know how to move you guys.
So you
though.
see the top
Pages.
panel. Yeah.
Yeah.
See the pages? You see there's a ribbon that says players?
Oh,
Click
shit,
on
I can
that
grab
and Yeah, you can click and drag that to the next place you want us to be.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whoa!
Amazing. So that like pinkish star is where you guys are right now, essentially.
Flap.
And then the white star is where the Andu's estate is.
Okay.
So you have like
Right.
about another day-ish journey. If you guys have no interruptions, you'll probably be there by right around supper.
All right.
We should probably get moving then.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. I believe
we
it
all-
would be. Go ahead.
Oh, sorry. So what are we doing with the second carriage?
Might I suggest that it would be best for Her Highness to use?
By herself?
No, considering how she's feeling, might be beneficial if I'm there with her for that duration of the journey.
Yeah, that works.
Mm-hmm.
What? He just looks.
Don't worry about it.
Look on the bright side. Phantom will be in the other carriage with you.
Yes! Okay, never mind. I don't care. You guys do whatever.
I was about to
Oh my
ask
God.
to insight check you, but I'm like, nope, we're good. We're good. Or actually, I'm going to cast Detect Thoughts on Lark for surface thoughts.
Oh, hell yeah!
Oh, we're
Let's
casting
go.
magic on each other.
Let's go.
This was the drama I was hoping for.
Okay.
And I just
Wait.
finished drinking my tea. Let's go.
Are you okay? Wait.
That's
Are you gonna
disgusting.
attempt to like go deeper?
No, just surface.
Okay. Her surface thoughts. Oh yeah, sure. That's the only reason why you want to go into the carriage with her. Of course. Because of her motion sickness. Uh-huh. Sure.
Because you're really gonna make it better.
Jeez.
Sure.
Can't even make freaking Ginger by himself.
There's a legit
And then it's like,
basket
oh, I
full.
get to hang out with Phantom.
Okay.
Okay, then.
Total
So
360.
Yeah, that
who's
snap
gonna
that,
go
like-
in what carriage then?
I guess the princess and her huntsman are going in one. or
And the
two,
rest in the other.
And the rest of us peasant folk are going in the other, apparently.
With Phantom.
With Phantom!
You
So,
love
uh,
Phantom. Don't
God.
lie.
I would say first or second carriage for the two groups.
Which
who's
one's
going
the
the first one, who's
fancier
going the
one?
Which was
The
Are they both
fancier
equally?
Are
Are
the
they
fancier one
equally
is probably
fancy?
the one that's being pulled by Peanut and Alexander.
that one was the
And
one with
then-
the
That's
sick
the magic
basket
one.
too. That was the one with the sick basket too from
Yep.
Yeah.
Rowan.
So that's the one the princess should go into.
Yes.
Okay. It's also probably for safety too.
Mhm.
Typically, royals were kept separate, or like they've scattered them amongst different carriages
That's true, yeah.
in case of ambushes and stuff. Lydia learned
Also-
that one.
Not to mention, I'm sure y'all don't want to have a star potentially puke on y'all.
Yeah.
Okay. So then, yeah, you guys would be led to the different carriages as you would begin your journey closer to
right
the Andu's estate. Yes?
So right before that, Lark's actually going to take Forrest to the side for a second.
Oh.
Away from the group. So I heard the comment about you being able to bring people back from the dead. Now, this is a social event. None of us should die. But if I were to, don't bother.
Why?
Don't bother wasting your spell components.
Okay.
Because I know for a fact the only way the spell works if the soul is willing to return. Don't bother with me.
Okay.
Good. And she just goes to the carriage.
Just takes a minute to process that. Thinking in his head, either warlock shenanigans or something else. And he goes to the less fancier carriage. The peasant carriage.
Tell me you're petty without telling me you're petty.
Both fancy guys. One
I'm
just
like,
also has
come
the.
on.
One just also has a demi-plane.
Listen, do you want to be in the fancy carriage with a puking princess? Or the slightly less fancy and have your own space?
The one with her own space.
Besides, you get the panther.
And the rest of the pets, other than Endora.
Mm-hmm.
Before making her way into the carriage, she would just Aurora would go over to Roland and just say, "Good morning," just with a smile, and then
He would return, good morning. I hope you were able to sleep well.
yes, of course. How was the coffee?
Wonderful. I wasn't expecting to get anything this morning, actually. It was a nice surprise.
Good. Spontaneity is always nice.
Have you had a chance to meet these horses? And you realize it's the two different horses.
Two different ones.
Yeah, it's the second carriage, so...
No, I haven't. And she's gonna hold her hand out to let them sniff her hand.
The one of them is much more friendly than the other. And the one that's being much more friendly is named Quincy, and the other one is named Silence.
Oh.
But you see, Roland's just petting the mane of Silence. It's just, don't take it hard. He takes a bit to warm up the people.
It's okay. I understand. Take your time, my friend. She says to Silence, and then just goes back to petting the mane of Quincy.
Was the ride yesterday fine, by the way? I know the princess prefers the travel a bit slower, but I want to make sure it was also alright for you. And, you see he got Kai catch, for everyone.
Well, believe it or not, I used to often travel on the seas. And the motion on the seas is way different than the motion in a carriage. The motion on a carriage, I would say, is arguably more calming than being sloshed back and forth by random torrents of water. So, yes, it was quite enjoyable. Thank you.
I'm glad to know I drive better than the ocean.
Hard to stop a force of nature, isn't it?
I wouldn't know. I stick fairly close to inland, to be honest.
Sea's not that much to worry about.
Well, I believe we should be on our way. Let me help you into the carriage.
Why, thank you. You're quite sweet.
And he would help you, like, put out his hand, like, help give you a step up into the carriage as he gets ready to depart.
Oh,
And there's gonna be like she's gonna squeeze his hand softly as like a thank you, and before scooting her way into the carriage.
Mm-hmm.
before Rosanna enters hers, she'll go over to the other carriage, and with the crocus kind of like in her hands, she'll kind of poke it and be like, I know he may not be much, but if you wish, Crocus could be with you.
Ah!
By heart! Ah!
Awesome!
This is a total 180 from what I'm used to you playing. It hurts. It hurts me. Oh,
This
God.
is player development.
Crocus is a familiar, correct?
Yes.
Sarah will probably take Endora, like, noodle off of her shoulder and be like, that actually may not be a bad idea, considering that we can semi-communicate through familiars. Do you want Endora?
Okay.
Familiar.
And he can familiar swap. He can
That is
also
just- Sorry, go ahead.
alert. He can alert me as well if anything happens. She just has just ferret.
You know, like when you get the like shiver through your body, that full body one.
Mhm.
I think you see that with the fur, because you're a bit like colder, and he's just like, oh,
Oh,
Just puffs
It's like,
up.
oh.
yeah.
Fluffy.
and she's never held a fair before, so she kind of is like not knowing how to really hold him.
She can
Kinda
get
like a little noodle.
boneless.
Buddy.
So she'll kind of like. It's like when like a child's like playing with slime for the first time.
Oh,
They're,
yeah.
like trying to like figure out how to hold it. Like, so she'll kind of be like, oh, nope. Like a gentle scoop.
Figure it out.
Mhm.
She normally just flops.
Oh. Okay. And she'll kind of like confusedly, but or would probably I would assume would probably just like once like shown shoulder kind of just
Natural state.
a natural state of floppage.
Yep.
Fluffy,
Absolutely.
fluffy.
It's Floppa Friday!
If there is nothing else, I would say your carriages would begin to depart. Say for starters, we can start with the carriage with the four of you. If there's any discussions you wish to have, or anything you were looking to figure out.
Phantom's vibing on the ground.
Aurora is just gonna pull out her lyre and just play gentle music, like not really elevator music, just calm stuff, just something soft, quiet, relaxing.
Forrest is actually also going to pull out his lyre and play something as well.
Hearing them both play, Rosanna will kind of take out her music box and kind of hold it up and looking to both of the bards like,
No.
how good are you at playing by ear?
It's a good thing I just rolled a performance check.
Oh, give me a moment. I should read you
Yeah,
that.
I would say see how well you guys could.
How? How?
buddy.
How?
Oh
Let's say okay.
I
So
am not-
Aurora, I think you would be able to copy it pretty well. Forrest, what instrument are you playing again?
Liar.
I think
Playing
one
a
of your
lyre with
strings
me.
snap when you're trying to
Oh,
recreate
no.
the sound.
Fuck! He just yells an undercomment.
Phantom just looks over, just like one eye open from the floor, just looking up.
Aurora's gonna look at him, raise a brow, and say, "Language." She doesn't know what he said, but clearly it was an extremely loud, unhappy sound. So she's assuming he's cursing. She'll say, "Language. I can fix that. Calm yourself. You wouldn't want the world to hear you act so vulgar, would you?" She giggles.
He pulls out his pan flute and
Almost. Sorry.
I swear.
Is Lark laying on Phantom?
Huh?
What's Lark? Is Lark doing their usual calling up to Phantom thing?
Yes.
Okay, so as Forrest begins to play again, you just feel a sudden paw of Phantom just on the side of your head.
Oh.
Lark, taking pity on the poor panther, just brings her hands up and covers his ears instead of her own. Just like does the thing where you like squish animal ears down.
Mm.
She does that and just holds it like, "Don't worry, buddy, I got you."
I got a 22 on my performance this time.
I was
so
gonna
pan flute
say,
goes better.
and Dora has spent the last 5 years in the Underdark, so hearing Forrest probably swearing in Undercommon, and Dora probably recognizes that, like, language in a weird way. It's like when you train your dogs in German, and so she's probably just gonna, like, awkwardly, like, run across the back of Rosanna's shoulders and, like, just, like, instead of just being, like, Noodle, just, like, perch on, like, both shoulders and just, like, like, what is happening? I heard a word. I heard the words.
In Undercommon, Rosanna will just be like, "It's okay," and she'll give a little pat.
Lark will feel something on top of their head, as Star has rolled up in a ball on top of their head.
Lark is currently frozen because there's something on top of her head, but she's keeping
Hi, the critters!
its ears down. Now it's that internal battle of, do I release the panther's ears and check what's on my head, or do I trust the thing on my head not to do anything stupid?
Force opens one eye and sees Star. You think you'd be more comfortable on a pillow. Star is on top of your head.
In fairness, my hair is much softer than any pillow.
Okay, fair. My pants is on top of your head.
Lark's just very comfy on top of Phantom, just like half laying on top of him again, just... Okay, the music's not as bad now. I'm gonna lift up your ears, okay, buddy? And she's gonna give him, like, scritches. And just relax on top of him.
You'd hear the faintest of chuffs.
She'd mimic the sound back at him, just... Good boy. This is why you're my favorite.
Oh, I thought I was your favorite.
My favorite panther. Like how Hootzifer my favorite owl. And my favorite drow is Terrace.
I know, my dear. Oh! Aurora just kind of... She's still playing her lute, or her lyre, but... she leans in while she's plucking the strings still. Now please, do go on.
About Terrace?
There's a twinkle in your eye. I could be being, presumptuous.
I've known Terrace since I was in literal diapers. He was one of my babysitters whenever my parents were busy, whether my dad was away on business or my mother had to attend council meetings. He was the one that taught me how to fly giant beasts. He was the one that taught me how to hunt. He's a very dear friend.
I like hearing about friendships like that.
Me, him, and Lonan would have races with our steeds. We haven't had a chance to do that much with everything going on, but...
Lonan, which one of the siblings is that? The Star siblings?
That Lonan is the crown prince.
Ah. The one with the dragon?
Yes.
Understandable. Got it.
Mm. Yeah. I still haven't gotten the full story on how it is. He always changes it slightly, so I'm never sure for sure how he got it. Most likely, his dad helped somehow, is my guess.
Over the table, I know how he got it!
Where else is there a silver dragon in the world?
But yes, Terrace is a very dear friend of mine.
Well, keep that friendship and keep it close. Friends are always nice to have, especially ones as dear as that.
Indeed. What are you two fuckers doing?
Hootzifer, Endora, stop!
Hootzifer,
feel like
stop
that's
trying to get
The
door in
squirrel
the
and
undercarriage.
Endora.
A squirrel. There's a squirrel. A squirrel got into the carriage.
Star and Endora.
So your daughter met Elderheim and wants
she's
to
never met
marry
him. She's
She
never
has-
met him. She saw a picture of him, a big mural of him on a wall. Saw a man in shining armor riding the back of a unicorn. Said, that one, I want that one, she says, like mocking her voice. Literally, like, changing her pitch and everything to copy her daughter. I want that one!
Your daughter.
She says, pointing at the ceiling.
Your daughter is one of those young women that believes a white knight will come by on a silver steed to save them from castles. Isn't she? With all due respect.
Unfortunately, I wonder where she gets her imagination.
Her mother's a bard.
The hell is that supposed to mean? She's a bard.
That explains a lot more.
Hold on. That was a little rude of me. It runs in our bloodline. The firstborn daughter of each generation usually is selected to hone their voices because they are particularly strong.
My family has something similar, I guess. Typically, a lot of bards runs in our family. So far, my mom hasn't had much luck finding any of us with an exact interest. We take after our dad a bit more.
Is that so?
She's really hoping Bastian does, though, because he seems to be really interested in music. He only shuts up whenever there's music around. In fairness, he's also a toddler, so.
What do you think of girls with blue hair? That laugh was out of character.
I mean, depends on the girl. Here's the thing. I know there was a lot of talk about how I seem promiscuous.
Mhm.
And for the most part, I will fully admit, I don't care what goes on down in people's drawers. If you have an interesting personality, on the other hand, or can make me laugh.
Oh yes, my daughter's quite interesting, I'll tell you that much.
Alright then. Well, if your daughter doesn't mind, I would be more than happy to meet your daughter.
Aurora's just like, right? Good to know. My son has been bothering me. He's pretty tired of hearing about this Prince Ennorion.
I mean, I don't have a unicorn, but I have a giant owl, which I could argue is better.
Hmm. That'll do. She can ride on the back of that. Hey, it flies. She might like that. She always had some sort of fascination with birds.
I mean, there's not many giant owls in the area. Imagine she found boots of her very interesting.
Hmm. Indeed. I like you.
Thank you.
And you, my dear, she says, looking at Rosanna. My daughter could use a friend like you. You both have a beautiful curiosity about the world. Maybe you could teach each other a thing or two.
Well, being a scholar, it comes with it, I guess.
What do you study?
Everything. Be it magics, nature, religion.
What's your favorite thing to study?
She ponders for a moment. Curiosities that have yet to be understood.
Mysteries.
Quite
Someone-
frankly,
You seem like the kind of person that really enjoys going into libraries and stuff.
my entire home is a library.
Depending on how this trip goes, and depending on if my mom can get permission or not, I make no promises, but would you be interested in checking out the Confederacy archives then?
DM, how much would she know about the Confederacy archives?
Can you roll me a history check, please? Okay.
She's still tired.
10. A 10 will get you. You've heard of the Confederacy archives, but from your understanding, the overseers of sacred knowledge have not really been permitted access to those archives. They've been trying for the last 10 years or so, but there hasn't been much crossover of knowledge there.
Do you? Her eyes like sparkle in a way that they have not sparkled at all so far on this trip. Do you really believe you could?
I make no promises. My mother, however, is the mistress of lore, for the Fall Confederacy, and she does believe in sharing certain bits of knowledge. She can't give you state secrets. There was a whole scandal way back when that was false information given out that slandered her name, and she's only recently gotten that all forgotten and stuff. But at the very least, she might be able to show you some bits and pieces that's more general knowledge, and possibly also help you find more stuff. She's also looking for apprentices right now to lighten the load again.
The overseers have been trying to get our combined knowledges together for some time now. So, if a bridge could be made, I would much enjoy that.
Well, depending on how this goes, at the very least, I can give you an introduction to my mother. It'll be up to her to see how far that bridge goes.
That would be most enjoyable.
Alright then. What about you, Forrest? Anything you want to know, learn, see, do? Forrest has been rendered speechless.
It's going hard on that pan flute.
Nah, he's probably conked out. He's not a morning person.
Forrest has fallen asleep while on top of Phantom.
Oh, he's back.
Oh,
Maybe.
Maybe?
Forrest?
Do we have a forest?
Yeah, I'm here.
Forrest?
I'm here. Sorry.
So, Larkspur just asked, is there anything you want to learn, see, experience, do?
I would like to. I would like to give bards a better name in Azuria.
Do they not have a good name to begin with? I'd be very shocked to hear places wouldn't like bards.
It's because of the controversy of your it
King
was the
Mindrath.
King Midrath and Queen
Billian.
Villian. Thank you. There was
I was just looking at him disapprovingly, having to fill in the blanks that she's literally been teaching him from before this fucking trip started. She warned
true,
him
that's
he was
true.
going on this trip, and she's just looking at him like, motherfucker,
Sorry.
get your shit together, Tyrone.
Sorry. There was there was an artist back in the days of Lydia's parents by the name of Anna that was writing controversy about them, slandering the royal family's name. And it
Right.
got. And after the execution of Anna, performing arts and like bards and all that were not really looked upon with greatness here in Azuria.
Right. I forgot about that little tidbit in history.
And I want to be one of the ones that brings Azuria back to a time before, well, to look upon a brighter future, that not all artists or performing artists are Anna. She was a stain to our community.
Fair. Understandable.
So I want to build I want to be the pillar that builds the bridge to allow the performing arts to become public again.
You do know the publics are, like, the arts are public.
Well,
It was like
I meant
one of Lydia's first acts, like at the very end of Vicar and Honor. It's like they are.
Well,
But I think what he's trying to say is about the is how there's still that stain on their history.
Yeah. It's still
Yes,
recent
that's-
history. It's not like it's faded from memory yet. It's still rememberable.
I want that history to be not stained anymore, basically.
Hmm. I mean, it should be a distant memory in like another 70 to 80 years, but I don't know if you can wait that long.
I still plan on.
I know my mother can't wait that long.
No,
She wants it
cannot.
on the daily. She threatened this poor boy, scared him pantsless.
Even after the tour is over, I still plan on doing work to hopefully get that stain removed from history.
I
I
would
wonder
say at this time,
our,
you would cut over to the other carriage. See what's going on over there.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Much to the surprise of people, Maddie's actually keeping an eye on Istar, making sure she's doing all right.
Are you next to her, or are you on?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he's staying beside her because he knows that in the worst case scenario, he'll have to jump into action.
Much like Endora flops, Istar's probably just gonna like flop over to the side and like put her head against like Maddie's shoulder. It's like, we have circles. Why can't we just use circles?
I'm guessing maybe there's a little bit of tradition with this.
Probably. Break tradition. I'm sure Roland would appreciate possibly not cleaning my breakfast off of the floor if we break tradition.
True, but it would also be a little bit difficult to finally have that talk you wanted.
Yeah. Hi.
It's good to see you too.
So you're not mad?
Never was.
But Lark is?
Yeah, and honestly, I thought I had smoothed it over with Lark on that whole ordeal, but obviously that reunion proved otherwise.
I am fairly certain, after spending a night in a tent with her, I'm going to get stabbed, Maddie. I'm going to wake up with a knife between my ribs, and I know she knows which one, that it won't kill me, but it will hurt enough to remind me of what I did.
He just, as she's venting about this, he just puts his hand, opens his hand, palm facing upward.
She will take off her gloves and just start doing like she used to do before she left, and just start tracing scars and calluses.
You definitely notice that there's more of those scars than before, and you do see the one on that right hand of his that actually has that cut from that knife.
Mm-hmm. She'll pause for a second, like lift her head and like look at him like, you really slipped.
I did.
That wasn't when I messaged you, right? Was that from... That was my fault, right?
Not sure, really. I mean, there was that one night you you wanted to have a little bit longer than usual conversation, and I was tired the next day, so maybe it's just me not deciding to get more sleep.
I did message you a lot, out of the blue.
Getting held as hostage by Enric wasn't exactly what I expected either.
I didn't expect to be held hostage, per se. But I didn't expect it to be to that extent.
But nevertheless, you passed. You had that opportunity.
Yeah. Yeah. Sometimes I wonder if I even made the right choice.
Someone once told me that you don't know whether or not you made the right choice, even after you make a decision. Sometimes you will not be certain if it was, or eventually you'll find your answer. At least you'll learn from it.
Learn that the person that I grew up with that's trying to become my sister-in-law wants to kill me at night? Because I came back home?
Did she say that she was going to kill you?
Not outwardly.
She does realize that if she does kill you, that she loses privileges with Phantom.
Does Lark realize that?
Oh, I'm sure she would.
Okay, maybe more or less not kill me, but at least stab. And I'm pretty sure words aren't working with Lark. Lark doesn't listen to words, Lark listens to blades.
Lark is very much a person of action.
My actions spoke louder than my words.
Perhaps, but it's just like the saying goes, it takes time. It takes time to heal wounds, and I'm hopeful that the longer we travel together, the things will begin to amend for between you two.
Me too. I hope so too. This might be a punishment for me from my dad. But, you know, I still kind of hope that
Speaking of
yeah.
which, I've been wondering, how did that happen?
I might have told Enric to go fuck his girlfriend in the middle of where I now work to fix his attitude.
Really got you that day, huh?
I was having a bad day, and he told me something that just made me set off, and that was my response. So he sent me home, and sure enough, my dad was there.
You can be pretty scary when angered.
Let's just say my dad wasn't very impressed with the last couple of years. Making my family my male runners. Because someone can't come to Nymphaeaceae.
Wait. Does that have something to do with me?
There's a reason why you're here.
Oh.
Listen, if I'm gonna be trapped in a moving carriage with Lark, who's probably going to stab me, at least you're gonna be witness to it. I at least asked for your presence to be here.
Fair enough. Now we get to be together on this journey. On this tour.
Exactly. You are going to keep me sane. Because I can't open my mouth around the other people. Because then it's all gonna go to shit. I know my reputation precedes me in this.
Well. At least you don't have the burden of having no reputation.
I think I would prefer that.
Oh no, no, no. There's gonna be a lot expected of me.
You're gonna be fine. You're a goody two-shoes anyways. You're going to be fine.
I'm not sure I'd be considered a goody two-shoes.
What was the last rule that you broke?
Well, I broke curfew multiple times.
Does curfew even apply to Huntsman at that point?
I may be a huntsman. Yes, I'm a huntsman, but that also means I'm still a servant. So I still am bound by those rules. Which is why this is all the more weird for me.
At least you're not the princess of the kingdom, Maddie.
Well, on the bright side, get to meet all the important people.
They're not that great.
You cut out, what'd you say?
They're not that great.
I don't know. If they're anything like your family, they're quite impressive.
Maybe just because I was born into it. I don't want it.
Well. Whether you realize it or not, there are things that you have that not many people have. I would trade anything in the world for that.
Depending on how this goes, I might want to trade.
What would you trade?
I don't know, at least renounce my title. Go live in peace somewhere.
What, not even become a dusk magi?
Well, I mean that, but I don't know. Just away from palace life. There's a reason why I sneak out so often.
Well, it's me anyways. Palace is not the building. Palace is the family that you have.
Gross. Believe me. There are days where I wish we were just a normal family. The last time I saw my dad was like a week ago, and it was a lecture. I haven't seen Tara since before I came back. I only saw Lonan for about 5 minutes, and my mom said all 5 words to me before leaving halfway through dinner.
There seems to be this a little bit more than heavy look on his face as he seems to be in thought for a moment before speaking. Well, there's still hope in that, and well, still have a chance to work things out with them, whatever that may look like. Because the only time you'll have that regret is when it's too late.
You're sounding too much like my dad.
Well, maybe it's because me and your father found some commonality while you were gone.
You know, he said he likes you.
Well, seeing how I'm still alive, and even on this tour, I hope that's a good sign that he likes me.
I mean, yeah, when I asked for you to join, he said he didn't mind because he liked you and trusts me with you. So.
Interesting.
But he also said that in the same sentence of telling me that if I didn't come home and do this, I would lose everything. So
Father has a interesting approach on showing how he cares about you.
To be fair, I told my mentor of over 5 years to go fuck some woman to fix his attitude. I told the most dangerous and violent magi in current history to go sleep off his attitude.
I wonder how many times you told that to Lark.
Know what? I might have to go do that next time. Next up, I'm gonna have to do that. But if I come to you with a knife in my side, you will know why.
Well, just know that, like I said, she would lose the privileges of snuggling with Phantom for the rest of the trip. And I'm sure she does not want to lose that.
Absolutely not.
Ah.
Did Phantom miss me? This is a very important question.
Very much so.
Good. Oh, DM, do I have to make a con save?
I would say around now you can make one.
Oh boy. I just realized, I was like, oh wait. Oh no.
What'd you roll?
That's a 2. Yeah, natural 2, no modifier.
Okay, so a 2 I think this time, you're sitting next to Maddie, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I would think this time, at one point during this, you would feel it coming up, and you're not like actually able to hold it back. A 2, I think a 2 means it does get on the seat across from you a bit.
Oh,
Maddie
no.
is getting is grabbing her hair, keeping it back, so none of it lands on.
I think it's like 2 rounds of it.
Oh my God.
Like.
So yeah,
He
he's
rolled
holding her
pretty
hair.
low.
Yeah, no, that's like
He's holding her hair back.
You would see her tattoo.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because it's on the back of her neck. So if you are
Oh, yeah, that's
pulling
right.
her hair back, you'd see a tattoo on the back of her neck.
Told you should have had that tea.
Listen, you made me eat.
You worked out. If I did the same thing, you would get mad at me.
You don't throw up in a carriage.
You don't know that.
She's gonna like do her best to like turn and like look at him, just like. Oh God. I'm glad she has.
And when she's done, he would let go and then just gesture to the back of her neck, of his neck. Finally happened, huh?
I mean, when I had 5 days to decide if I was continuing, and I spent 3 of them unconscious on top of you, I really didn't have time to do it here. So it happened in Nymphaeaceae.
Fair enough.
And because I didn't do it a traditional way, Enric had to be my sponsor because he was the only witness. Enric does not have bedside manners when it comes to tattoos.
I wouldn't expect that from him.
Nope.
Oh, looks good.
Thank you. I think Lark saw it last night and that also made her upset. Maybe I just shouldn't room with Lark.
Who would you room with then?
Star's gonna like look around for Crocus real quick.
I don't think you guys noticed, but he dodged out of the way of the vomit, and he's just kind of like sitting there, kind of like looking at it and looking back at you guys, like you're not gonna do something about this.
I don't have the spells.
Oh God. Star would just be like, I mean, Rosanna seems nice, as she's like just gonna like, as much as she hates this, just like prestidigitation to like clean up her own mess. Like, I made a mess, I'm cleaning it, I swear. It's just strawberries.
Strawberries, I swear.
It's strawberries and coffee. Oh God.
Oh God, worst combination. Why would you do that to yourself?
You forced her to eat, man.
Hey, I didn't say what you were gonna eat.
There was more strawberries on the table than anything else. It's fine. But no, she's just gonna like look at Crocus and like look at like my oh, Rosanna?
You would see like just a little puff of smoke come out of his mouth. Just
She seems very nice.
I mean, you better say nice things about her, as we have her familiar in here. At any point in time, we can watch and listen through them.
I know that. Well, I didn't know that, but
Why do you
I had
think
a problem.
Oh, you didn't know that.
no.
I was about to say, why do you think I sent Endora over so much when I couldn't come over?
Oh, that explains a lot.
I thought you knew.
You could easily tell that he has an embarrassed look on his face, knowing some of the things he had said to Andorra. Just like, chat.
Andorra doesn't talk. It's fine. And it's not all... I'm like, Andorra doesn't talk. It's fine. Like, I wasn't always in there. It was just when I was busy.
Well. What's happened has happened, so.
Quickly, for anyone else, is there anything, like any quick actions or conversations you would like to have before we get to the estate?
Nope. Nope.
I'm Gucci.
I'm good.
Mm-hmm.
Good.
Okay. I say, can everyone then make me a perception check, please?
Is it sunny, DM?
It is.
Oh, my disadvantage. This is where drows suck.
Oh god.
22.
You chose me drow twice in a row. You did this to
did.
yourself.
Oh,
It's still a
no.
10. It's still a 10.
I'm gonna say
21.
Lark
Oh!
is too focused on Phantom right now and just like cuddling him to the point where she fell asleep on top of him, just all comfy, like just
I love the fact that my drow vision still did better than yours.
22 perception.
Okay.
Stop being so perceptive.
It's the quiet boy,
It's
The
quiet
two
ones
quiet
are always
ones.
watching.
right?
22 or 21.
I would say 10 to 15-ish. I think you guys would notice that there's not as many trees around now as you've entered more of a clearing inside of the forest. 15 and more, you guys would see farther off down the path. You would see buildings starting to appear. Just a couple in this kind of greenish, lush field. At this distance, you could tell it's a couple stories tall, as it has multiple spires coming out of it on either side, and kind of like an L shape towards you for like a whole additional wing that looks a little bit newer. This whole building does have different ferns and moss sort of like growing up the sides. One of the tower spires, the entire roof is covered in this moss as it's catching the sunlight and sort of gleaming. Because by now, it's more or less golden hour at this point. By the time you guys are reaching here, as you approach, you would realize this is what's known as the Tanglewood Chateau. Here is where the Andus have been residing within the forest. And you would see a smaller dwarf woman standing at the steps awaiting your arrival.
Got me playing
She's
Golden
got-
Hour now.
She's got her hair kind of done up into a tight bun with a braid across the top, kind of like this burnt orange color. She is adorned with a kind of like a chest plate, but more of a leather pants underneath as she is waiting for your arrival. Once you arrive, the doors would open and she would just bow deeply to you all as you exit. Be like, welcome to the Tanglewood Chateau. Was your journey here quite alright?
Yes. Thank you.
It was.
nothing of worthy note occurred while luckily.
I am Miss Zinrick, I am the head lady of the estate, and I regret to inform you that the Baron and Baroness have already retired for the evening, for they had a big day, and will hopefully be meeting with you in the morning.
Understandable. It is getting late after all.
And
You say
you
ho-
see she would produce a bottle real fast. I was also informed that one of you was looking for holy water.
Oh, that would. Thank you.
She would present it to you. And it's just this small bottle that has, you would notice, a crest on it of like a dragon's head, but its mouth would be open and it's actually breathing fire to like a silhouette of a bonsai tree.
Oh.
Ooh, fancy.
That
Real
bottle.
question is it worth at least 1,000 gold?
I would say that you might need like 2 more bottles to get to that point.
Okay.
Uh,
She'll accept it and kind of like she'll look over, just take note of the crests. Mental note: I'm going to need more. I'm not going to ask for that right now.
You can ask for the next one at the next house we go to.
Slowly collect.
Trying to find the right. Is this what I wanted? I don't have my notes. It's fine. She would gesture up to the chateau. Please let me escort you and show you around the estate. That way you can get accustomed, and you do have free range of any of our resources here. We only ask that if you are in need looking for something in particular, you reach out so you don't necessarily walk in on anyone that might be residing inside as well.
Dungeon Master, does Larkspur recognize the house? Was she here during the last tour?
I would say no, for they only took up this no, but they only took up this responsibility within the like last 5-ish years, which was around the time of the last tour, but they were still under like renovation and getting everything set up that they were skipped on it last time.
Okay. All right.
So she would walk you guys up the hall, and you would enter into this grand room where like this all the wood seems to be a deeper brown, with 2 side staircase leading up to the 2nd floor on either side. There's a window in the underneath it that shows off to the back end of the estate, where you would see a large garden area with a sort of small hedge maze. Like the hedges would get up to more like your waist height, so it's like a short one. As well as to the right of that, what would look to appear to be like a sparring ring, a training ground. There's a couple like mannequins set up there, benches. One area is a bit more of dirt versus grass. As she is gesturing out, these are our facilities. The young masters and ladies do use this during the day, so it might be a bit crowded, but you are free to use this if you must. And she continues through and gestures to a room with large 2 doors that have sort of these like little white stars sprinkled throughout it. And she would say, this here is actually our conservatory. The young masters like to study the stars once in a while when needed, as well as practice their various studies and talents here. If you are in need of any space to, and she gestures to Aurora and Forrest, to practice your music, one of our esteemed instructors has actually been here lately and would love to meet you both.
Oh, absolutely.
I would love to meet them.
Continuing on, she would lead you down a long hall with multiple portraits, and you would actually see the different people that have resided in this chateau before, some long gone. The most recent ones, you would notice the family portrait of the Andus. Would see the father, a very strong, stoic man, has white hair, kind of a more meanish demeanor to him as he stands proud and tall with his right hand on his son's shoulder. And his arm, actually, you would notice, is a bit more scaly to look. His son below him looks a bit younger, but has much more of a clean-cut feel. Keeps his hair very short, looking off to the side, sort of back to the family. As he also has a more scaly arm, but this one is more on his left. Next to the father would be the lady of the house, where she is long blonde hair, big elf ears adorned with multiple chains and jewelry dangling down in a simple circlet upon her head. She also has these like scalish features, but very faintly across her like cheekbones, more of like a highlight to it. And then sitting down at both of their feet in the chair would be two twin elves, you would notice. Both with longer blonde hair, bit of a more joyful look to them, as they don't seem to actually have any of that like draconic motifs to them like the rest of the family does at the moment. Both looking cheery, prosperous, of what the future might hold for them. As we continue through the hall, you would see next a giant ballroom where there's multiple orchestral instruments set up, as well as a long dining table to the side that's, you could see, has already been sort of set up for a celebration that might be occurring soon. Above, and you would notice that it's actually one of those what's the word I'm looking for? Balconied ballrooms, so you can look down onto the dance floor, with all these tall pillars that resemble tree trunks themselves. Continuing on, she would lead you to that more newer addition to the building that I mentioned before, and she would point to the either doors on either side and be like, this would be where you guys will be residing for your time here. We were not informed of how long you wish to stay, but you are welcome to be here as long as you would like. If there's anything we need to acquire for a longer stay, please let us know. My lady is very generous and would give the world to anyone that it simply asks.
If I may ask, would it be too much to impose upon having my companion be allowed in here? If not, he could stay with the carriage.
I don't see why not, as long as he is well trained and doesn't wander off too often. You see, she's like sort of hesitates for a second, trying to find the right words.
I'm assuming no one here has an allergic reaction to felines.
No.
Okay.
The Andus don't have much of a resentment or any sort of allegations against any wildlife that might wander into the estate. They just prefer that they don't poke their heads around into rooms and get into the various supplies that we might have here.
Understood. I will keep Phantom on a tight leash. I would just, I would just say, just for not only your master's sake, but also for the servants here as well, that the Phantom is indeed a panther. So, again, if there's for any reason that it would be not, if it becomes problematic at any time, please let me know, and I will do what needs to be done.
You would notice her eyebrows would raise when you say panther.
Mm-hmm.
Be like, we were not informed of bigger animals that would be here. I'll make sure that the housekeeping knows, and we can get the proper arrangements made.
But
perhaps I should also, if you weren't made aware of the panther, I should let you know about the giant owl that might be circling the estate.
Wait, what? Man, it's like, wait, what? It's like the look of wait, what? This is the about the whole, especially the part of the circling the estate. It's like, oh no.
You would see that like sort of like strained smile, just like, I will alert the guards and the groundsmen to stand down of anything circling the estate. Then
he's getting Hootzifer is very active in the evening typically and gets very anxious if he doesn't fly. I can guarantee you he does not mean any harm. If anything, if I tell him to, he'll just go rest in the wooded area if that is something you and the estate would prefer.
Maddie is staying quiet, but he is giving this person a very apologetic look, like, I am so sorry.
I would advise, at least for the night, to have him stay out more in the forested area.
Of course.
We will hopefully have the correct arrangements acquired by the morning.
Of course. I apologize. I had thought that word would have been sent about my companion.
She looks to the rest of the group. Are there any other specific companions I should be made aware of right now?
I just have a little cloud. She just holds up Cosmo. He's a homunculus. He doesn't need anything. He's just
You
here.
just see her blink at the cosmic cat.
Maddie, this whole time I was just thinking, it's a really good idea for me to be in this tour.
And Star's probably still holding Crocus because they hadn't traded badge. Like,
Oh yeah.
just a familiar, which I can dismiss at any point.
Also a familiar I can dismiss.
Very well. I won't keep your time for much longer, and I would assume, have you all had supper yet?
I would assume that, Dungeon Master, I would have assumed they would have had something light on the road. I can't speak for Astara, but I imagine that our group would have had, like, at least something light to tide them over until morning.
Aurora's just, she is like, oh, I'm good. But, may I get your name?
She told us her name.
Huh?
I am known as Miss Zinrick. If you need anything, please let me know.
DM, can you spell that?
I am not... Zinric.
Got it. God, I'm getting flashbacks to Enric. No!
The demeanor is also very similar. It's great. She's like, oh my gosh, my trauma won't leave me.
I can't escape the man. This is probably just him in disguised self, god damn it.
He followed you here.
Wouldn't surprise me.
Aurora is gonna say, it's a pleasure to meet you. I'm Aurora. and she'll hold out her hand for like just a handshake. She's not hoping for any sort of like. She doesn't want formality here. She's just trying to greet. She's trying to act as if this person is a friend.
She would look at your hand and then just like slowly take it to shake.
She gives it a gentle shake and gives her hand a soft squeeze, as in like, it's okay.
Well, like I said, you are free to use these rooms as you please. I would suggest not, and she like gestures to mixing too much. We do have a couple younger members here at the estate, and if you do see anything peculiar, please let me know.
Will do.
And she would bow to you guys as she like continues the walk down the hall, and you can just hear like her boots like hitting the floor as it just continues down this long hall.
Okay, Phantom's gonna hate me, but he's gonna stay in the carriage because I do not want to risk causing any offense.
He's not staying in the carriage.
I
Just
am
have
not
him
gonna cause
stay in
any
the carriage.
offense to our host.
I think I'm causing more offense by the giant owl.
Yes, but at least I want to stay in good standing.
Who says I don't want? Who says
This
I
is-
don't want to be in good standing?
She just said it was fine.
Yeah. Look, so long as he doesn't.
But that was
hit
before
anybody,
you mentioned. But that was before you mentioned the freaking owl.
The panther is
Well, I
not
had
the
to mention
owl.
freaking owl, because otherwise, they would have shot down Hootzifer, and then you would have had to deal with me crying, and you've told me you hate my crying face.
Yes, because not the time.
It
We're in
makes
public.
you feel things. I know you don't like feeling things, you big butthead.
Aurora's
I'm
just
tired.
looking
It's been
back
a long
and forth.
day.
Just looking back and forth between Maddie and Larkspur.
Anyways, let us.
He's not sleeping in the carriage.
Well, he's not sleeping in your bed. I know you like to snuggle him.
He's a good snuggler.
Yes, I understand, but I do not want to cause any more of a panic.
From me snuggling a panther? They have small children. What makes you think the small children won't want to snuggle him?
We'll cross that bridge when we get there.
Okay, fine. First and foremost, I need to tell Hootzifer he has to go sleep in the friggin' forest. If he's not already by the window right now, looking at us all.
To the window, to the walls. Out of character. Anyways. Well, I suppose we should try to retire for the night.
Yes.
And so you guys
So
do have free
early.
range of the estate right now, and there.
Oh, okay.
She did not mention a curfew, so you don't have to go to bed right now.
Well, it started as like a drowse, and like it's so early. The moon's not up.
Ooh. That's a good point. Larkspur suddenly has this large smirk on their face. Does anyone want to come flying?
No.
Actually, I was gonna make my way to the kitchen and see if I couldn't snag a carrot or two.
Alright, that's 2 no's. Anyone else? Anyone want to come flying? Anyone at all?
I should probably go eat something.
Probably be wise.
You go eat.
Besides, just
All right.
remember, guys. Remember, everyone. And this is the Andu's place, correct?
Yes.
This is known
This-
as the Tanglewood Chateau.
Okay. We are currently the guests of the Andu family. And from what we were told, we must keep that in the forefront of our mind. What?
I'm not
Why are you
gonna
looking
do
at me like
anything.
that?
I'm not good. You're speaking to me as if I'm going to do something stupid.
Because you will. Am I
That's
wrong?
just- That's rude. All I want to do is go flying.
I'm not gonna say anymore. I'm not gonna say anymore.
She's an adult who can make adult choices.
You're just mad because Phantom likes me more.
Think I care?
Yes.
Well, clearly you can't read minds.
No, but I can speak with animals.
So can I. You start to realize how much of sibling sort of demeanor Maddie and Lark have with each other.
Rosanna's gonna cast Detect Thoughts on Maddie hearing that.
Do
Hearing
it.
what?
Do it.
Hear- The whole comment of unable to read minds. Just hearing their little back and forth.
Okay.
She's
So
not gonna dig deep, so it's gonna be surface
Okay.
thoughts. But
okay, so you're gonna get
Oh, he typing
Oh,
it.
you're not- He
Oh, he's
typing
typing.
it.
Oh, he typing.
typing. Oh no.
this is the surface level thought. And keep in mind, you've never heard him curse. Like out loud.
She'll take note of that and she'll kind of speak up. If it helps, I can go along.
Flying buddy.
How exactly do you plan to fly?
We
It's
just climb on his
Huntsman.
back. You climb onto his back and you hold on.
Oh.
Don't worry, since you're with me, we won't do any flips or tricks or like death dives.
There's like a flash of concern in her face at hearing the word death dive.
Star has probably just
Literally,
been
I
standing there,
just
like awkwardly holding
I just-
Crocus, and like, Endora won't go near Hootsifer.
Oh, right. Familiar swap.
Familiar swap.
one of these days, Endora needs to get over his fear of Hootsifer.
And one of
Hootsifer's
these days,
apologized
Hootsifer
already.
stops. And one of these days, Hootsifer needs to stop trying to eat smaller things.
If he tries to stop eating smaller things, he'll die.
I could
He
make
can't
it.
eat things bigger than him.
And stop Phantom.
And he's apologized for trying to eat Phantom.
I'm just glad that Hootsifer didn't die from that.
Me too. Oh, it took so long to stitch those wounds back.
Anyways, not an appropriate talk right now.
Yes. So I guess me and Miss Rosanna are gonna go for a quick, gentle flight. And then I guess we'll see you guys later.
Have a good evening, everyone.
Have fun.
Flying, 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 flying.
Flying.
You know, Star's heading down to the
Jeez.
kitchen to go
Oh.
find food. After she lost breakfast.
Yeah.
Baby girl.
Force is
Poor
gonna
Star.
join. Food.
Okay.
Snack time.
Aurora's going, but for carrots and an apple.
I know what you're doing.
I'm gonna make silence my friend. Damn it.
Okay.
Turns out silence is a tsundere.
No, like in my head when silence is introduced, I'm like, that's Astara's buddy. Like in my head, like, watch silence be Astara's buddy, just moody and yep.
Okay. 1 second. Okay. I'll say going to the kitchens. You guys would make it to the kitchens fairly easily, and behind the doors, you would hear just a commotion going on as like things are like sliding around and like clanking, going crazy in there. Before you would open the door and you would see a woman just running around like pretty fast, like throughout this kitchen, like kind of not even like making call outs as you would imagine in a kitchen, where she has like multiple like sort of spectral looking assistants also preparing various things with her as she is running around and be like, you need to get this done, the chops need to be thicker, these ones are too thin, this needs to be in the oven now, and just going like crazy in there.
Okay, Gordon Ramsay.
You would see that she has a long white hair kind of tied up into a bun as well. Her ears sticking up behind her in a nice, simple top and apron, just with various tools, like cooking utensils, kind of hooked throughout the pockets, and belts, along with a nice long skirt, just kind of flowing around as she is running around throughout the kitchen. And she does not notice you guys at all. She's in her own world.
Aurora would gently knock on the door, not trying to startle her at all. Excuse me.
Her head would whip around and be like, who are you? What are you doing in here?
My apologies. My name's Aurora. I'm one of the members at the Royal Tour. Pardon, I'm not trying to get in your way or anything, but I've come to ask for 4 carrots and an apple, if it's not too much.
Strange diet, but sure. And she would go to like the pantry and grab the various items and like calling over her shoulder, is there anything else I can grab while I'm over here?
She just looks at Istara and Forrest like, come on! Like, kind of doing this, like, get on with it, yo!
Istara's very used to just watching a kitchen work and like finding her way in to like grab whatever's on a counterweight and get out. But like she's probably just like dinner.
Oh
She
God,
would like
you
turn
just
back
believe
around
this.
and look at you. You're gonna need to be a little more specific.
I will take whatever you have.
All right. And at this moment, you would realize, like, when she, like, kind of paused and, like, took a second to talk to you, the spectral, like, beings would have dissipated, like, around her.
Can I just say, playing as Maddie as the servant in this moment hurts my soul. I feel Maddie screaming right now, and don't do this. And on top of that,
Star's
all I
trying
can
not to
think
be
of-
imposing.
and all the while saying the one thing that every girlfriend says is, "I'm fine with whatever," and then deciding later, no.
No, Star's just trying not to be imposing. She
Okay.
knows this woman's like hustling.
I know.
She's just like,
I'm just being me.
at this point, Star would just eat a loaf of bread. If that's like what you got, she's good. Like she's like, I will be a bird for the night.
I think she would notice that her little like spectral helpers kind of dissipate, and she's like, well, and just kind of like put the things on the table to present to you guys. Now that I guess I have a moment. Sorry, and you see her demeanor is like calmed down a lot actually, for the second. Apologies. My name is Renaya. I am the head chef here. May I please get your names?
Pleasure to meet you. I'm Aurora.
I do not mean to impose, Astara. Forest.
I think he fell asleep.
Like, elbow. Yeah, he might be asleep.
Yeah.
But it's
Dusty.
Oh,
I hear the
Dusty!
breathing. It's the steady breathing.
Dusty.
Do you think this is a sign we might want to end session here?
Maybe.
And I'm Forest.
Oh no. But,
Poor Dusty.
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 Poor Dusty.
Oh my.
Yeah, that might be a sign the end session.
Like,
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Well, at least have a good spot to pick up.
Yup.
Yeah, you guys are meeting this chef.
I mean, Astara's pretty handy with a knife if she wants help.
You honestly think she's gonna let the princess of the country help in the kitchen?
She hasn't recognized me yet.